a non-physical entity, a spirit, decides to come and play in this time, space reality. And they enter the world through the birth of a child, correct?
Well, certainly that is one avenue, yes.
And at what point does that entity or spirit or, source, energy, actually enter into the fetus? Do they jump in at birth? Are they with you as a mother? Is there some sort of a maternal bond that is created? I have children, and through your tapes, I've heard you talk about they're really sort of on their own path. And there isn't this big purpose of connecting and going through life together and, having been there together before and being here for some great purpose, to experience something else in life together. It's like we're sort of individuals.
Very often, those that you gravitate to, or even those families that you are born into, are very long-time friends, and you are here co-creating again. We would like you to broaden that feeling of that and recognize that everyone with whom you share your planet is that, to varying degrees of familiarity. And so there is not one who would be really outside of that wonderful description that you and we have offered together here.
Well, I like to say to my children, I'm so glad you chose me, because I feel so fortunate to have them in my life and to be their mother and to be there with them.
That's a very nice way to put it. And if you are really wanting to be accurate about it, you could say, I'm so pleased that we have chosen each other. I'm so pleased that we are together by our vibrational intention that was launched even before our birth into these bodies. And we want to go back to the beginning question, because it's a very good one, and we believe that today we will go beyond that which we've done before on this topic. And since this is co-creating at its best, here we are off and running. Now, the important thing to recognize about consciousness is that it is a stream of consciousness. In other words, there is not a clump of consciousness that is your soul and a clump of flesh that is your body, and when the two come together, it equals you. You are a focused consciousness, and you have access to this stream of consciousness. So, for example, earlier we were talking about how you are transmitting and receiving mechanisms, and that what your time-space reality inspires you to focus upon causes you to offer a vibration that then summons. So the soul, or the source of that energy, as the fetus is growing, is a different, not kind of energy or different energy, but different perspective of the energy. In other words, it would be accurate to say that the energy of the mother, as she is experiencing the pregnancy of her body and the growing of the fetus within her, that the intent of her own body is the summoning of the stream of energy which feeds the fetus. Now, to some that's a little unsettling, because they want this little being's spirit to already be involved in that. And we say whatever is necessary for anything that is asking comes forth. And at this point in the growing of this fetus, it is a cellular asking. In other words, the cells are asking. This little baby is not launching rockets from its physical perspective. It has not gained its physical perspective. But everything that is necessary for its continuation is percolating within it. And this fetus is asking. So is the mother asking. The mother is consciously asking, but even the cells of the mother's body are asking. So this stream of consciousness has begun. Is it the same stream that will help you build an airplane or help you fly an airplane? Yes, it is the same stream, but it is being asked for from different perspective. And so it's a different perspective of the same stream. So then, for example, as we are here together and you are asking this question, you tap into this stream that is Abraham, and you reach for it in a different place than somebody else was asking for this stream. And so is it still the soul or the energy or the stream or the source that is Abraham? Yes, it is, but your asking is summoning from it differently. And so as you are in your physical bodies, you have access to anything that you want or need all the time at all levels of your being. The question has never been about that. In other words, that is a given. That is happening. You're summoning clarity on so many levels. When you get into your car and drive down the freeway, you access so much more intelligence and understanding than you could have ever learned in driver's education, that you could ever learn from reading your California driver's manual, that you could ever learn from even your personal exposure in traffic. In other words, because every moment that you have been involved in any of this, all that is has been involved with you too. And so you have reflexes and you have responses, so many things that are chalked off as physical human characteristics that are nothing more than your translation of that spirit that is within. We really want to impress upon you, in response to your wonderful question, the connection that you have to this broad source of knowing, and encourage you to soften your vibration as much as you can so you're up and ready for the immediate translation of all of this infinite assistance. Physical humans often cut themselves off to this assistance because you train yourselves to believe in your imperfection, and then you get on a path of proving worthiness. And when you're proving worthiness, it's all about, well, I've learned this, and I've learned this, and I've learned this, and I'm doing this, and I'm applying this. And we think it would be ever so much more beneficial if we would all say, we are doing this. We are all in this together. In other words, you have access to anything that you want to know, anytime you want to know it. So when the answer comes, don't try to separate the asking, which is so important, from the answering, which is so important, because the asking is every bit as important as the answering. And when you stop trying to separate the two, then you realize that we are all in this together. The same energy, and this upsets many humans who want to be at the top of the pecking order, and are, the same stream that inspires your dog or your squirrel inspires you. But it's a different piece of the stream. It's a different part of the consciousness applied in different reasons. But when the squirrel learns something, you benefit. Just like when you learn something, the squirrel benefits. In other words, as knowledge is gained and applied, then that knowledge exists in a more accessible venue, and anyone who lines up with it then has access to it, you see.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Yes, indeed.